coordination. So a lot of the movements require your focus. So not a lot of strength per se, not really heavy weights, but difficult in the movements that you're performing require attention and focus. So we'll be doing that as per usual. And before we begin, just a disclaimer, to go at your own pace. So if you experience any faintness, dizziness, pain, or shortness of breath, to please just stop what you're doing and recover properly, take your time, and then you can continue. So we're going to start with a warm-up doing some side-to-side lateral lunges with half range of motion, and it will look like this, and we'll do about 2 minutes of that. So everyone will be standing up. Okay, so we're going to begin with a lateral lunge, and you want to start with a wide stance. So spread out your feet wider than a normal stance, so wider than shoulder and hip width. And you're going to shift your weight just left and right. So it doesn't sound like much, and it's not supposed to be. It's just a warm-up. But what I want you to do as you continue doing your lateral shift is to try to go lower each time. So use your hand and guide towards the floor. So pretend like you're going down to touch the floor, and keep your shoulders up, your chin up, and continue looking forward. Okay? So not too fast, just this side-to-side lunge really warms up the lower body, gets the coordination going, especially if you've been sitting down all day. You don't want to go right into the advanced movements. Okay, and then hold it right here. And then you're going to pivot down into a lunge position. And you're going to place your left hand beside your right foot. And your right hand you're going to turn and reach towards the ceiling. Now hold that there. Bring it back down. Now place your right hand beside the foot and turn this way. Okay, now standing back up in that wide stance position, and you're going to continue doing your lateral shifts with the reach. So each time you do the lateral shift, this leg is in full extension. That's where you get that stretch. And then to build up your coordination, your motor skills, do the opposite hand. So if it's the left lead leg, it's the right hand touching the floor. One more. Now hold it. Pivot into a lunge. Same stretch. So this is a really good thoracic spine, hip, shoulder stretch. So right hand goes on the floor beside your left foot, and then you rotate this way. Bring it back down. Now your left hand is touching the leg on the floor here, and rotate. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to do one more warm-up movement. So on the floor while we're down here, you're going to be in a 4-point position. So hands and knees. And we're going to do our abductor exercises. So this is strengthening and warming up the glute, the outside of the hip region here. So you're going to kick your leg out. So it's behind you. And you're going to shift the leg as far forward as you can. So you're shifting the leg almost like a kick, but nice and slow and controlled. And you're bringing that towards you. Now what we're going to have you do is lift your right hand off the floor. So you're kind of balancing like this. Place your right hand on the same hip. Now try. So forwards and backwards, that's all you're doing. Forwards and backwards. Now hold it there and just go up and down with that foot. Now hold it up. Now bring the knee in towards the chest and extend out. knee in, extend out. 2 more. 1, 2, done. Switch sides. So start on the 4-point position. So your hands and knees, kick out your leg behind you, and just pull it forwards and backwards. Okay, and then you're going to switch so that you have your hand on your hip, a bit more balance involved, and just go up and down. You should start to feel the outside of the hip here burning, warming up. Good, and then in and out. 2 more. And done. Good. Just rest on your knees. Deep breath. Perfect. Okay, there we go. So you should be nice and warmed up. You've done some mobility work, some dynamic movements. So you're loose and the circulation's going, so you're ready to go into the more advanced movements. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to do is the single-legged one-arm row. Okay, so for those of you that are new to this one, what you're going to do is have one weight, and you are going to balance on one leg. So in this case, we are going to balance on the opposite side. So if it's your right hand holding the weight, your left foot will be planted on the floor. You're going to extend your leg out behind you, and then you're going to row that weight up and then return. So this is where you get to relax for a split second, recover, recuperate your balance, focus, and again, you're extending the leg back, lowering down, row the weight, and then return. A lot of balance and strength here, a lot of activation of the glutes. Okay, let's do 8 more. Here we go. Slow and controlled. Do not rush these types of movements, as they're meant to be done very carefully. Lots of attention to detail. Never the need to rush through it. Really focus on what you're doing each and every time you go down, that your left leg is supporting you. You're rowing carefully. You're not excessively moving it. You got a couple more here. Good. 1 more. And done. Good. Okay, so it is a little difficult. There will be some endurance on that one side that's balancing. So you'll always tell one side is worse than the other. Okay, so left hand in the weight, and your right foot will be the one balancing. So kicking back, perform your row, and return. Okay, here we go. 10 altogether. 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's always a challenge for me on this side. 6. 2 more. And return. Good. Okay. Now you can drop that weight down. So you should really feel the hamstrings and the glutes, the hip area working when you're balancing on that one side. It's more than just balance and coordination. You're getting so much strength and stability by doing what we call unilateral exercise, or a functional movement, which is performing on one limb. Okay, there's so much going on in the small little parts of the joint and the muscle to help with the performance. So it's excellent to do this. Okay, next one, we have a upper body exercise. This one's always tricky. So you're gonna need, I guess we'll just use one weight, the same weights, and you're gonna be on the floor. Let me just adjust my camera.
Okay. So we're going to do what's called a plank row, or I guess you could what we call a renegade row. So basically you're in a plank position. Have that weight nearby, just kind of underneath your body. And you're going to be up in a plank position, or what the push-up position at the beginning, so like so. If you're unable to do that from the full push-up position on the toes, you can do it from the knees. So basically, lift your feet off the ground, and then you can do this position, okay? But try for the more challenging version. So what you're gonna do, starting in this position, is you're going to row the weight, set it down to the other side, and pull. So you're constantly up the whole time, and you're switching back and forth, okay? So this exercise, we're going to progress a little bit. The idea is to try not to shift your weight too much. So you don't want to do this when you pull the weight. You want to keep the hips and the shoulders as level and balanced as possible. So constantly think about that when you're performing that pull. It's just a small little movement, keeping the core engaged, okay? So we're going to do 12 all together. So first thing is first, up into our position. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3. And 12. Finish and relax. Good, okay. So remember, it's not about the weight you're lifting for this exercise. It's about the technique, the coordination, the balance and stability. If you can do this flawlessly, any other exercise will be so much easier for you because you'll have that core strength and stability, okay? Let's take a quick 30-second water break. Okay, and then we're gonna be back on the floor. You're gonna need one weight. We've done these a couple times before. So you're gonna be in a half kneeling position, or I guess a lunge position, like so, and have that 90-degree angle with your legs, okay? And this is gonna be the half kneeling woodchuck torso rotation. And that last part of the exercise title is key for this. For this movement, you're not actually using your shoulders to swing the weight. So if you feel like it's too easy, chances are you're doing it wrong. That's usually a rule with fitness. So what you're doing here is the shoulders are keeping the weight in an extended position. So their really only purpose is to keep the arms extended and hold the weight up. But the movement itself is coming from the hips and the torso. So your core muscles that you use to rotate. So you're gonna hold the weight here, lower it down beside you, and extend with a rotation, like a swing, like a sport swing movement. And that swing, the torque and power should come from this region. So try a few. And what you'll notice while I'm doing it is that the movement is quicker, it's faster on the way up and slower on the way down. So it's really important to remember that you want to control it slowly on the down phase and quicker on the up power phase. Okay, so let's perform 10 more. Here we go. Done. Great. Other side. Now that you have the movement down, let's just go through it and execute it right away. Here we go, and go. 10, Remember, engage your core and don't use the shoulders for the swinging motion. And done. Excellent. Okay, great. Set that weight down and just take a second to relax and kind of recollect what you just did there. So on video or in a mirror when you're doing that, it really does, from an external perspective, look like an upper body exercise because you're in motion, your upper body's in motion, but the strength and the power that's generating that movement isn't in fact your upper body, your shoulders. It's really all here. That's where that rotation comes from. So it's a great core exercise, and it's great all-around functional exercise for generating strength and endurance and power. Okay, so just remember that when you're doing that movement, not to just go through the movement as if it's upper body. Okay, and that's the same thing. The reason why we call it functional is because it's applicable to certain movements in life or in sport, like a swing, a swinging motion, or raking or shoveling, anything like that to prevent back pain and overuse of certain body parts, like straining the neck. If you do it from here, you'll eliminate that and prevent injury. So really important. Okay, now if you do have one, grab a heavier weight for this next exercise. Okay, so I'm fortunate enough to have a kettlebell, and it's a little heavier than the weights I'm using. So if you do have any weights or objects that are a little heavier, I'd recommend trying to find one, okay, because it makes it more effective. So this is a really good lower body muscular endurance and strength exercise, and also coordination. So we're going to be doing a figure 8 through the legs in a squat position. So we've done this, I think, in our previous 2 weeks ago session. So let's give this a try. So what you're going to do, you're standing up, and you're going to be squatting down nice and low, and you're going to be transferring that weight through your legs, maintaining good posture, and you're going to be doing a figure 8. So that's what you're kind of drawing here, okay? So obviously the coordination, because you got to be careful when you're handing off the weight to perform the figure 8 movement, but you're holding that squat the whole time. So you're down low in a squat position, so you're not allowed to come up. So you'll feel the burn like right away. It's really effective. So let's do, I guess, we'll do 10 and 10. So we'll go 10 this way, and then we'll reverse the direction. Okay, here we go. Okay, ready, and start down and go. 1, 2, 3, be careful. 4, 5, 6, 7, stay low. 8, 9, 10. Now go back the other way. 1, stay low. 2, I know it's hard. 3, 4, 5, keep going. 6, 7, almost there. 8, 9, and 10. Oh, okay. Oh, good. That's always a fun one to do. Your legs get a little wobbly when you're done your workout, when you go walk upstairs. That's always a really good one for sure. Okay, so push that weight off to the side, and you're gonna be sitting down on the floor, but keep that weight nearby if possible. I'm just gonna lower my camera. Okay, now we're gonna do Russian twists. So basically seated like so, with your feet together, and you got a V shape, and you're gonna lift your legs off the ground, and then lift your hands off the ground, and then you're gonna twist 1, 2, like so, okay? We're gonna do 2 rounds of 16, and the second round will have a weight. So if you can, use one of the weights you were just using, but for the first round, no weights. So let's do 16, ready, 3, 2, 1, and lift, and go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Whew, and drop. Okay. Now the hard part is grabbing that weight, and we're going to do it right away, no rest. So if you have your weight, ready? Another 16, and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. Done. Good. Move that weight out of the way. Okay, now we can cool down. We've peaked with our movements, and we're going to now do our stretches. So while you're in this position, we're going to do a pigeon stretch. So front leg is bent, zigzag. Your back leg, you can keep it bent if you want to make it more effective. Try to extend it behind you. And then you want to be on top of that leg. So from the side, it looks like this. Try to slow down the breathing a bit. Should be stretching the outside of the hip here, the glutes, the hamstrings. This is a really good stretch to do if you're sitting all the time, which most of us are. Okay, now drop down, switch sides. So start in a zigzag, so like this, and then you can go here and hold. Sorry, I just realized my plant is taking front and center in the video. I should have adjusted screen. And collapse down. Good. Now we're going to do our half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So you're going to be in the kneeling position. So on your knees and then your foot planted. And so if it's your right foot in front, left arm, and then you're turning this way. To make it more difficult, just lean forward and you'll feel the stretch along the front of your leg, the hip flexors. And release, so come back, switch sides. So now the left leg is your lead leg. Your right arm comes across and you rotate to the left. And again, to make it more difficult, just lean further forward. And release the stretch. On your knees, sit down on the heels. We're going to go into the child's pose. So stretching forward and hold that position. Head down. Okay, and sitting up. 2 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And finally, a cat-cow stretch. So 4-point position, hands and knees. And you're going to sink down the spine and then arc it up high. Engage the core as you suck it in. And then release it back down and up. And down. Don't sink too low, but definitely it's a little exaggerated from normal spine. And up. And down. 2 more. Up down. One more each. And up. And down. And done. Okay, great. Hope you had a good little workout for your Tuesday. Thanks for joining a functional workout. This will be posted later, and you can enjoy. And have a good rest of the week, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.